Hey everybody, this is Rusty again with Collector Auctions. I have a short video today showing off some of the things that I picked up from this year's Baltimore Comic Con. It is my local show. I live real close, so every year I try to make it if I can. It's a great show. It is probably one of the top shows in the country that's devoted to comic books, not just celebrities. And oh yeah, there's comic books included too. This one is probably 98% comic book related. They do have some celebrities from time to time. They didn't have this last year because of COVID. This year they did have it, but you did have to wear a mask. That was the only real restriction when you came in. They went through, checked your temperature. You got a wristband saying that you were okay. You had to show them proof that you had the vaccination. But after that, there really wasn't any restrictions at the show and everything. It was well attended. It seemed like it was a little bit down attendance-wise, but that might have been due to some of the top artists canceling over the last month. I'm not really sure, but you could pretty much do whatever you wanted to do. You could see the artists that you wanted to see. I know I had a great time. So in this video, I'm going to go over some of the prints, some of the autographs that I got, and then I'm going to do another video and I'll show you some of the books that I picked up, because that was it got pretty complicated with what I was picking up. I had a very good list. I stuck to that list for the most part, and that'll be real interesting when I show you those books. But we'll do that in another video. Today, let's just go over some of the other things that I picked up. So to begin with, here's the program. So I picked up that. And I also was able, because I've got a VIP badge, I ended up, you could pick up a t-shirt for the show. And I believe the feature artist on this was, I believe it is John Gallagher, I believe, who was also obviously at the show. And then you could pick up this year's yearbook. And throughout, if you've never been to the show, this yearbook, they feature art from all kinds of different artists, and they promote you going around and getting every artist in here signed. A lot of people will do that as a sort of a scavenger hunt. They will try to get every artist in the book signed. I didn't do that. I've got very specific things that I want to get signed over the years. This year I was very low in the number of comics that I took. It has gotten very expensive over the years, the last couple years, ever since CGC has started witnessing signatures. So if they're getting paid to witness a signature, how could the artist or writer not get paid as well? So everything there's a charge for everything now. So it gets really expensive. So the things I'm getting signed are a little bit less and less. I'm very specific on what I'm doing. There's some books I want to get signed, but I've kind of switched over the last couple of years. I've been getting prints that, as you can see from the wall behind you, I enjoy getting the prints done. It's a great conversation piece. We'll get them signed. Yeah, it's kind of nice. I haven't changed it up since last year, so some of the new prints this year might be pretty good. So let's go ahead and start. The first print that I actually picked up was print by Frank Miller. And this print was given to us as part of the VIP package. If you bought the Frank Miller Gold package, I think there was other packages as well, they give you a print. Well, Frank Miller canceled this year, and they gave you the option, if you wanted to roll your tickets over until next year, and where he promised he'd be back, they would give you an extra, for the package I got, they would give you an extra autograph. You would be able to pick up this year's print. They gave you a VIP package for the show, so you could get it all 3 days early as well. That was a really nice bonus. Instead of getting in at 10 o'clock each day, you could get it at 9:30. The yearbook I just showed you, that was part of it. The t-shirt was part of the VIP package. But what was really nice about this, why I expected to pick this print up, they'd already had them signed by Frank Miller. So that was a real bonus right there. I did not expect that. Now, let's see. Also, a staple of Baltimore Comic Con is Frank Cho. This is from his new book, Fight Girls. So I picked that print up. This was the last autograph I got. I got it right before I left on Sunday. This was the last thing I got signed. But I picked that up, and a copy of the first issue of the miniseries. He was at the AWA table signing these. Or signing, you could pick up whatever books you want. You could bring in things to get signed as well. So I didn't have the book on me at the time, so I picked one book up at the stand and had him sign that as well. So the big artist for me this year after Frank Miller canceled was Joe Quesada. And Joe Quesada had a paid signing. I ended up buying, I think, the gold package. They gave you a nice badge for that, the Joe Quesada Gold Fan Package. And what that included was 3 autographs. It was a greet and meet. You got to go into a private room, have your items signed. He'd take a photo with you. So that was pretty cool. It's the first time I have done one of the private signings in one of the other rooms there. Even after 20 years, I've never done one of those. They used to have, when Stan Lee was with us, the first time he came here, it was in the main area, not in a separate area. But I seem to remember when it started getting a little bit bigger, they started including some celebrities. Kevin Smith showed up one year with all of his guys from Comic Book Men. And I know they did a private thing that was away from the general crowd. So ever since then, I think some of the bigger ones like this, they like to hold it into a separate room. So you just go to another room in the convention hall, and they've got it well managed. You go in, give them your tickets, basically, show them your pass, and you're good to go. But I got him to sign this right here. This is Batman Gallery. He did the cover to it, and it's a collection of artists contributed. If anybody's seen this book, it's different artists over the years. I'm not going to open it up here, but in this book, I've got people like George Perez, Walt Simonson. I'm trying to think who else. Mike Zeck is in here that has gotten signed. There's a few others. There's a few that I probably won't get, like Frank Miller. I probably will not get this one signed. There's a page in here from him. A couple of Neil Adams pages. That will have to be. We'll debate on that. We'll see. Neil Adams has gotten pretty expensive. So we'll see if we get those. But it's just a nice collecting piece. And anyway, Joe Quesada had done the cover, and so I got him to sign that. Now, one of the other things that I got him to sign was Daredevil #1. Speaking of Kevin Smith, that's who wrote that. And my plan was to get that book signed, and CGC had representatives there at the show that would witness the signature. And so I turned the book over to them afterwards, and it's going to be my first book that I've sent to CGC for grading and encapsulation, hopefully with that yellow label. Hopefully nothing else is wrong with that book. I pressed it before I sent it to them. It was supposed to be pretty good. It looked really good, so hopefully a really good grade on that will come back eventually. So I don't have that book to show you right now. And the other thing that I've got signed, I don't have it with me right now, but I do the 50 Years of Marvel hardbound book that came out in the early 90s. I've been collecting autographs in that for years. I don't want to, it's getting a little bit of rough shape, so I'm not pulling it out to show you everything, but I've been collecting Marvel artists on that since basically 1993. So I got him to sign that as well. So that was the third autograph, if you're wondering. Also, at that signing, you could pick up a print, and I think this was the cover to, what was it? Was it Spider-Man 49? One of the alternate variant covers that he had done, this, and these were already pre-signed, but they would give you one of these as well. All right, so also at the show, I had picked this up here a few weeks ago. It's a book by David Peterson. It's one of his Mouse Guard books. And I picked it up with intentions of seeing him at a local LCS in Reisterstown, Cards, Comics, and Collectibles. He was there the day that they had the free comic book day. And he was there in their signing, and I couldn't quite make it. So I had bought this book with the intentions of going, but I couldn't make it, so I held on to it. I knew he usually is at the Baltimore Comic Con. If you've never met him, he's a very nice person. Wonderful artwork. Mouse Guard's a great book, great different series. anybody who's ever a fan of Lord of the Rings and Rats of Nim, things like that, would love this. But anyway, he signed the book for me, and one of the few people who actually didn't charge for an autograph. It was shocking. So that was very nice. All right, so one of the people I was very excited to see was an inker named John Dale. And John Dale had done the inking for Mark Bagley on several issues of Ultimate Spider-Man. I think basically the issues in the 90s. These were issues where he was fighting Morbius, he was fighting the clones, he was dating Kitty Pryde at the time, and years ago, I'm not even sure how long now, I had picked up original art pages off of eBay, and I think they were from John Dale at the time. And so I'd picked that. I've got multiple pages here from Ultimate Spider-Man. This was the one that you're looking at right now is issue 91. You can see you got Spider-Man, you've got Kitty Pryde, and he had already signed these up at the top, but years ago, Mark Bagley was at Baltimore Comic Con, and I had gotten him to sign it, and he had signed it down here in the corner, and I showed him to John, and John was marveling over his inking back. This was probably a good 10, 12 years ago, and he said, boy, I wish I could still ink like that. But he was fascinated seeing his old artwork, and I had him, he actually re-signed everything here down here by Mark Bagley's signature. One of the other cancellations from the show was Brian Michael Bendis, who obviously was the writer on these as well. And when I saw John Dale was there with Michael Bendis, I was excited because I was going to get all the two other autographs on here and have this as a complete collection. But let me run through these real quick. This was issue 91. All right, this is one of the ones where he was fighting vampires, and there's Morbius on the page and everything. This is issue 96. This is one of the clone pages. This is issue 97. You can see the scorpions there. And some nice action scenes. There's a scene where, I don't remember the book exactly, but apparently there's a big splash page with the scorpion that John said he loved that page so much he kept that one for himself. And then the last two I've got here, it's a 2-page spread with the Vulture, Silver Sable is in there. And Mark Bagley had signed both pages, so John did the same thing, but down there in the lower corners. So you can see Nick Fury's in the picture there. There's just some great detail on those. So that was a lot of fun showing him that artwork. Now, another artist that I had not had a chance to see over all these years was Chris Pachello. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And as I said earlier, I've gotten away from getting comic books signed for the most part. Unless somebody else has already signed the book, then I add on to it and everything. But I didn't have anything in particular for Chris, so what I did was I had him sign the Marvel book, and he wasn't. I didn't actually see him the first day there on Saturday. But Tim Townsend, the inker he works a lot with, was there at his table right across the aisle, and he had a print for sale. They had multiple prints, but this one they had for sale where he had signed it. And of course, they're currently working on Nonstop Spider-Man. And the next day, I ended up going back and getting Chris to sign it as well. So that's a dual signature on that print right there. Okay, so as I said, I was picking up prints from other artists. Some of these artists I've already seen over the years. I've got them to sign a Marvel book, but getting into the prints, it's been going to be kind of fun picking up some of these. It's not that expensive to pick up a print that's signed, so I stopped by Kevin McGuire's table, and of course he's famous for the Justice League comic book. And I saw this, and I'm going, well, that's pretty cool. So he signed that down there for me. Now, here's an artist. This is Alex I'm going to mispronounce this badly. Saviok, I believe it's how you say it. I'm not 100% sure on that. Very nice. He's known for working on Web Spider-Man and being the artist on the dailies for years on Web Spider-Man. Is he still doing it? I'm not really sure. But he had a lot of prints at the table on sale, and I love this homage that he did. It's very, very reminiscent to what is probably my favorite Spider-Man issue of all time, 122. Technically that would be the Death of the Green Goblin. But I saw that and like, wow, I really like that. So he ended up signing that for me. Okay, another artist I've never seen before is author is Sudam. If you don't know, he's just the artist that did the Marvel Zombie covers, all those variants that with the Marvel characters, famous covers he redid as like this one here, Amazing Fantasy, but everything was a zombie. And I ended up just picking the one print here, but he ended up signing it right there. I know it's a little hard with the lighting in here. It's a little hard to see. He signed it in a gold pen, but I really liked that. That was nice. The other one I wanted was he had done one of, it was I guess Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that he had done, and he didn't have the print on that. He had the comic book, but he didn't have the print. So that was really nice. Now another artist, he's the inker, mostly you'll know him for working with Mike Zeck an awful lot, is John Beatty. And I was standing in line actually to get Jim Shooter, who was in the booth right behind John Beatty. And as I'm standing there, John's signing, and on his table he had prints. And he had prints, there were color prints, but he had black and white. These are artist edition type prints where you can actually see some of the mistakes that the artists make on artwork. See, some of the times you can see the blue line or the pencil marks and the white out and things like that. If they use stamps on any of the type or anything, sometimes they'll photograph it so you can see that instead of just reproducing it like you see in a comic book where you don't see any of those lines or anything. But anyway, I got him to sign. I picked up 3 different prints. This was the cover to Captain America Annual 8, I believe. And if you've all been watching my videos, you can see I've got the color version right over here behind me that I picked up from Mike at the same convention, Mike Zeck, a few years ago. John Beatty was actually with him in the same booth and had both of them signed at the same time. But Mike Zeck was not at this show, so I'm going to have to wait and get that one eventually. But John signed it up there. And then this was the cover. I don't remember which issue this was, but I bought this mostly because I love the artwork. But huge signing area up at the top, so it gives plenty of room for Mike Zeck to sign eventually too. And then the third one that was like that, and then this one you can actually see a little bit more of the production techniques. You can see tape marks and things like that. That was the cover to Secret Wars number 8, the first black costume. And there's John Beatty, and of course, who am I seeing next? It was Jim Shooter, so I had Mr. Shooter sign that as well. Now, eventually, I'll have to get Mike Zeck on this one too to complete this. But that was very nice. I like that a lot. Now, speaking of Jim Shooter, got a little expensive. They were $25 an autograph. I kind of cut down all the things that I was going to get signed, and I'd already had Secret Wars number 1 signed by him years ago, as well as a lot of different other people who worked on that. But I had a copy of Spider-Man 252 that I've been working on for years, and he ended up signing it. See there, get the glare off of it. But I've also got Ron Friends on here, who did the interior penciling, and Brett Breeding. Is it Breading or Breeding? I'm not sure. Somebody let me know on that. But he did the inking on the inside, and he's signed right there. Tom DeFalco did. Is he the editor or the writer? No, he was the editor. I think, was it Marv Wolfman? I have to check on there. Or Roger Stern. I can't remember now. It's running together. But this one's going to be really hard to pick up. But Klaus Janson signed it on the bottom right there. He did the inking on the cover. And he did it in gold before I had a chance to stop him. But it came out really nice, so I'm not going to complain. This is for my PC. Okay, another artist that I've enjoyed over the years. I don't go by his table as much because I'm kind of done getting the comic books signed that I want to get signed by him. But getting into the prints, I figured, okay, let's pick up some prints, and that's Don Rosa. And so I picked up 4 different prints from him. He had a nice little package deal for that, but and you can see he personalizes everything. And I'm a huge Scrooge McDuck fan, so everything here is going to be Scrooge McDuck. Of course, he did stories with Donald as well, so without Scrooge, but as I said, I'm a Scrooge McDuck fan. This one had all the characters in it. And then one of the famous storylines that Don Rosa did was he went back in time with Scrooge and told his history year by year, basically. And this is when Scrooge goes to the Klondike and looking for gold. That was pretty cool. He had such a big space up here at the top to do whatever he wanted to do, so he did the word balloon up there. And then the last one was Scrooge with the Northern Lights, and there's Goldie, who is loves gold. Anyway, that was real nice. That was real nice. He would invite you to sit down in front of him there, and not just come up there and let's have a transaction and get this over with. He'd sit there and talk with you for a little bit, and even though I didn't have anything to get signed, he took time to talk to me, and we went over the prints, and he would talk to me about the prints. And the one with the Northern Lights, he showed me 2 different versions of it. One that he actually liked better than the other reproduction. The other one was closer to what they did in the comic book, and this one was closer to what he really wanted, where the Northern Lights were very sharp and everything. So I ended up going with the one he liked. And pretty nice. So that was nice. And so the last print that I'm going to show you tonight is, I picked this up. I was in an artist alley. I had not intended to, well, I intended to go to Artist Alley towards the very end and just check out some of the up-and-coming illustrators and see some of their work. And I stopped at one table, and this is an artist named Ben Harvey. And I sat there and looked at the prints and was like, wow, these are really nice. And he was sitting there working on a storm watercolor that he was working on. It was just beautiful. So I stopped. I picked up a print of the Black Widow that he had done. I'm not sure. I think it's just a print. I don't think he's actually been doing covers for Marvel at all. I haven't found anything, but I'm telling you, his artwork is gorgeous. You could see this on any cover of Black Widow right now. So that was awesome, and he signed it right down here at the bottom. But guys, that is it for right now. I have a giant stack of comic books about this high that I'll do a separate video on, and we'll go over that and go over some of the spec values and some of those things. But for right now, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of content, guys, hit the like and subscribe button. I will be posting other videos. Mostly I do CGC unboxings. I've literally got another box today. We'll have to do that video at some point. Just keep looking for the videos. As I said, hit the like and subscribe so you'll be alerted to when new videos and new content hit. I don't have a schedule. I do this for fun. And guys, I'm out of here. You take care. Bye-bye.